Wayfinder gave us an extended gameplay look that I want to watch with you and kind of react to. People are telling me that this is a game that they think I'll enjoy. There were some people that played the beta. They didn't give me any like NDA breaking details, but I wanted to check this out with you guys. Take a look, see what's going on. I may pause it, rewind it, loop it. Let's dive in and take a look at this thing. I'm definitely interested in this title. The art style initially pulls me in.
Wayfinder, a character-based online role-playing game for you and your friends.
Great.
It's all set in Evanor, a gorgeous world that has fallen to an ancient and mysterious force known as the Gloom. It's up to you to push back against this hostile calamity that twists and corrupts everything it touches.
I will say there's a lot of games coming out in this art style. It kind of looks like Fortnite, Immortals Phoenix Rising. They're kind of all in that lane. And I think more and more games should use this art style because I think they could probably squeeze more performance out. I think photorealism's a little overrated. I think it's more fitting for certain game types, narrative-driven games, games where you're dealing with real people or real-life situations. But I think the rise in this art style is excellent. I like it, but I am concerned it's going to make lots of games look very similar and samey. You've really got to work to carve out your own art style. I believe Wayfinder is doing that, so I did want to point that out, though, that I like this art style. I think we're going to see more of it, but it is going to be a challenge for developers to do a very specific art style within it, because it does start to look like Fortnite and Immortals Phoenix Rising if you're not careful.
You'll control the chaos as Wayfinders, powerful and diverse characters who are echoes of fallen heroes. After a cataclysmic event, they have been reborn of the Gloom, allowing you to shape both your Wayfinders' playstyle as well as their look.
Nice.
This is the Highlands, one of our large open-world areas. Here, you'll pick up quests, find world bosses, participate in public events, and more.
See, just seeing this, right? Just seeing this makes me really want to continue to emphasize that I think Fortnite could make one of the biggest and most popular MMORPGs in existence. I think they have plenty of data. They have the information. They have the engine. They have the character models. They've made all these different mechs and everything else. And I see this game and think, man, Fortnite, somebody's going to beat you to it if you don't get on top of it, okay? This game looks really, really nice. It really does.
Also meet up with friends old and new while you're on your adventures. Public events are always more manageable with some help from other players. Each Wayfinder comes with their own set of unique moves and talents, but it's up to you to make your Wayfinder your own. Wayfinders like Senja lead the charge by pummeling enemies with their up-close and personal attacks. Each Wayfinder can play a major role in experimenting with different strategies and party compositions. After exploring the Highlands and adding a few notches under our belt, it's time to head to our social hub, Skylight.
All right, now before they do that, I'm just going to say, I really like that they have what look like sort of preset animations and attacks, but they have lots of freedom of movement. I think that fluidity, I think the rolling around and the dodging really adds to sort of that moment-to-moment action. It's got that arcade-ish action feel. But I also like that there's a guy with a gun. There's somebody with a huge giant axe. That's what I'm most interested in, because I do think sometimes when games do this, they go down the lane of sort of preset characters, preset animations. It can start to feel like a turn-based game in disguise. And what I mean by that is I kind of experienced this in Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was great. I know lots of people liked it. It even got some award nominations. But if you're just sort of cycling through predetermined animations and just sort of, dodging when it's obvious you're supposed to dodge, I think that content loop can get boring very quickly. So that will be something I'm looking for in Wayfinder, is how are you making that content loop have a sense of depth and have like a substantive feel, because I've got to do this over and over and over again. That's the nature of these games. That's something that games with really good content loops master. They master the microcosmic moment-to-moment loops. So even the most mundane thing, public event, a bounty, a little mission, it all feels good. And I'm seeing good things, but I'm also seeing some of those things that can lead itself to, after a couple hours, you're just kind of bored, interested to see more, and obviously I want to play it.
Skylight serves as your main hub for taking on quests, turning loot into weapons, as well as other Wayfinders, both of which will be continuously added over time. In addition,
Okay, so they're going to continue to add Wayfinders, so that's another question / concern. How attached am I to a Wayfinder, and are we going to get into territory that's always a little concerning with games like Genshin Impact and some of the things we saw with Blue Protocol? I hear that and think, okay, you better put my mind at ease quick. If you're adding characters, lots of games do that, and it turns into a monetization nightmare. So I'm not saying it will, but I would like that answered fairly quickly.
In addition to unlocking Wayfinders, you can also create unique combinations of abilities and weapons. Kairos excels in dealing damage.
Okay,
Equipping
that
him
looked
with a rifle
awesome.
makes him a powerful addition to a party from a distance.
So that little sequence to me looked like very good fluid combat. It didn't look like he was just sort of doing a bunch of rehearsed things. I think that's always got to be super important. Like, you can make combat animations look amazing, but when they feel rigid or scripted or, again, like a turn-based game of disguise, that's a problem. That looked fluid to me. I think that looked like something that I would enjoy.
Skylight's Gloomgate serves as a portal into dungeons called Lost Zones. These ever-shifting dungeons are first discovered out in the wilds of Evanor, but as a Wayfinder, you can access and manipulate them with your Gloom Dagger. Lost Zones can be
Okay, hang on. Oh, mutators.
directly shaped and modified by you. Mutators allow you to control the chaos. In exchange for better rewards, Wayfinders can influence enemy spawns, environmental effects, and other challenging in-game conditions.
I like that. I think that looks great. I think the combat and the colors and the graphics continue to make me want to play. Like, that's another thing you got to nail. I've always talked about that in New World and in Destiny. Games that are pleasant to play. You want to be in them. They feel good to play. This one looks nice. It looks like it's a good game to sort of be in. It's pleasant. It's pleasing to the eye. That's an important aspect of your gameplay and your content loop, because if it's, you know, drab and dreary and awful, that's a problem.
We can't wait for you to play Wayfinder later this year.
Same.
Sign up for a chance to play the game early now. Thanks
I
for
would
watching.
love to play early. I would love to play early. I want to replay that section. Hang on. I just want to watch the combat here in this section. I just want to purely focus on the combat here. The roll away, big attack. That was a big area of attack.
Sign up for a chance to play the game early now. Thanks.
Some
for watching.
dashing, some slashing. Yeah. I'm kind of in. I think I'm in. I think this game looks like one that I would enjoy. Again, I always have tons of questions about games like this. Number one, how are you going to maintain the game if it's ongoing? What on earth is the end game? How are you maintaining the content loop enjoyment in the end game? Longevity and elasticity are always my biggest questions. The concerns about monetization are sort of an assumed thing these days. You kind of have to say that. You kind of have to throw that one in. But I do think when I look at Wayfinder, I see the pieces in the parts, the pieces in the parts of a game that would be enjoyable, that would be something people would come back to if you do live service format, if you do battle passes, if you do seasons, if you do new content. With that modifier mutator thing they had, that's a great way to get continued capital out of your game. You're not sort of just giving them vanilla content then that sort of falls away and dies. They can always go back to that content, ratchet up the difficulty, make it harder on themselves, add mutators, do things that make the content sort of get life breathed back into it. I think that's an important aspect that many games forget. I remember when I was playing New World, I said, why are the early expeditions just left behind? What if I want to run them again? What if I want to play them again? They were good content. Well, they ended up doing that, and I think other games need to really consider that. Are you taking your main core content loop, your main core pieces of content, and are you getting a lot of capital out of that? You build it, you make it fun, you make it enjoyable, but too many games end up leaving it behind. I'm seeing the logistical pieces of a game that could elongate itself and stretch itself beyond its initial sort of months and seasons or whatever they have planned, and do it in a way that I think people could really enjoy. So I see Digital Extremes is a part of this. They've sort of done great work with Warframe, whether or not you're a fan of Warframe. So if they're lending their expertise, input, or development power to it, that could obviously help the game be one that lasts beyond its initial launch. It could be one that has some of that longevity. So for now, I'm giving Wayfinder an interest. I'm saying, hey, I'm interested in this game. I initially kind of brushed it off. It didn't look like one that I would like, but then the more I've looked at it, the more I think it looks like one that I would definitely enjoy playing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this one you're looking forward to? I know people are playing the beta, but it's under NDA, so you can't say anything. I got a slight nudge from some people saying, I think that you're going to like this game, and that's about all that they said. So, as always, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit the bell button, leave a comment. I try to interact with comments as much as I can. That way, I can see you in the next video.